So this is the chord progression for just the two of us. In this lesson we're gonna break it down, we're gonna explain how to play it and what's the music theory behind it. Now the original key is F minor, but today we are gonna do it half step lower in the key of E minor because I believe it's a little easier to follow what is going on in the chord progression. I already made a solo guitar arrangement in the original key. I'll link the lesson in the description below and probably up here. It basically goes. You can check it out on my YouTube channel, and if you're interested in the tab for this arrangement, you can find it on my Patreon page. But like I said, today we're gonna play it in the key of E minor. So E minor 7, E minor 9 really is going to be our 1 chord, and we start from the C major 7. But keep in mind, we are not in the key of C major. So C major is not the 1 chord, it's actually going to be the flat 6 major 7, which simply means the 6th chord in the E minor key. From here we move to the 5/7, 5/7 altered. It's going to be a B7 sharp 5, okay? And then like we said, an E minor 9. From here, the whole goal of this chord progression is coming back to C major 7 to start again. How can we get back to the C major 7? Well, certainly with what we have always described as the secondary dominant. What does that mean? The 5/7 of the chord we are heading to. We are heading to a C major 7. So the 5/7 is a G7, which in order to play with a more R&B jazzy flavor, you can play as a G13. Okay. But sometimes we like to prepare the chord we are heading to, the C major 7, not just with the 5/7, but with an actual 2/5 in order to create a fake 2/5/1 to that chord. So instead of just playing the G7, G13, we actually want to play a D minor 7, because the D minor 7, G7 would create the 2/5 to go to C major. And we like to play the D minor as a D minor 9, so that we get the same note on top for both these two chords, the D minor 9 and the G13. Okay, so like we said, this creates a 2/5/1 in C major 7, but like we said, we are not in the key of C major, so that is not a real 2/5/1. It's a 2/5 of the flat 6 major 7, because we said the C major 7 was the flat 6 major 7 in the key of E minor, and then one last chord, 5/7, B7 sharp 5 like we played before, to then resolve on the E minor 9. So the first bar is made by 1, 2, 3, 4, so only C major 7 and B7 sharp 5. Then the second bar is made by the E minor 7, E minor 9, and the 2/5 to head back to C major 7, so D minor 9, G13. The third bar is made by C major 7 again to B7 sharp 5, and the final bar, the fourth and final bar of this progression, is just an E minor 9. Now guys, this is a very common chord progression in R&B and jazz music. You can find it not just in this song, but in so many others. So it is really important that you learn how to play it, but even more important is understanding what is going on so that you can apply it to your own chord progressions, or you can recognize it in other songs as well. And having a look at it in the key of E minor should make a little bit more easier to follow, that we're just doing a flat 6 major 7, 5/7 altered, 1 minor, and then we want to come back here. So it's literally a 3-chord chord progression, one of the most common chord progression in R&B. And then we want to come back to that first chord, which is not the 1 chord, it's the flat 6 major 7. But in order to come back to that first chord, we want to do a 2/5, and we're finally back. 5/7 again, to then finally resolve on the 1 minor. once more, one last time. Now, I want to remind you guys that anything I play, including this chord progression, you can find it tapped out on my Patreon page. And the big news is you can now get not just the PDF of this tab, but actually the Guitar Pro file, which is gonna be really helpful if you want to listen to it and practice to the tabs that I create on my Patreon page. Plus, together with the Guitar Pro tabs, you will actually get access to my R&B and neo-soul acoustic guitar chords. So if you guys want to learn more about this style, all of these chords and the music theory behind them, and several techniques from finger picking to strumming and more, by becoming a patron, you now have access to my entire course and you can learn everything about this style in over 40 lessons for more than 4 hours of original content that is only available on my course. So if you're enjoying this lesson, if you enjoy the lessons that I post on my channel, the best way to support this channel is to actually become a patron, and in this way you will also get Guitar Pro tabs and my R&B and neo-soul acoustic guitar course. But if you can't become a patron, that's absolutely cool, and if you still want to show your support, you can just do it subscribing to this channel and hitting the like button, because that is the only way we do have to tell the YouTube algorithm that you guys want my videos to reach more people. It doesn't cost anything, but it does really help a lot, so thank you so much for that. Now, recapping what we said, we can play this chord progression really with any style, with any arrangement. We can do the solo arrangement that I showed you earlier, we can play finger picking with a bit of groove. Or we can play more funky, a little bit more groovy with the pick, just playing some strumming really, right? And so on. It's really up to you guys how you want to play it, but I thought that this was a good chord progression to break down, particularly in this key. Obviously to learn just the two of us, but also to understand a little bit more about the music theory behind it and how these chords really work and how you can put them together yourself just by using a few positions if you think about it.